Now, they say revenge is a dish best served cold. In New York Liberty, they served up a plate of revenge in hot Atlanta on Friday night. The Liberty routed the Dream 110-80, 30-point victory for their 8th victory of the season. So let's talk some Liberty hoops with the senior WNBA writer for W Insider. That is Myles Ehrlich, who joins me now. Myles, how you doing, man?
Good. Great to talk to you after a win, Dexter. Last time it was after a loss. This feels a lot better.
Yes, the vibes are better. I'm glad we get to talk after a win, not after a loss like we did last time, but glad that we're getting to do this with some happier feelings around the Liberty this time. So, Myles, I want to talk about the Liberty here. And one of New York's 3 losses this season came at the hands of Atlanta at the Barclays Center just recently ago. And how badly did you feel like this team wanted this win on Friday night? And were you impressed with how they started the game and kept their foot on the gas here?
This was absolutely a point of emphasis this week in practice. They kept the Dream game front of mind, that they lost because they were outworked, that they were out-hustled on the glass. Earlier in the week, they were plus 12 on the boards against an injured Phoenix Mercury team. So I was interested to see what the carryover would be against Atlanta, who are 4th in the W in offensive boards. But New York ended up plus 5 on the glass while also forcing 20 turnovers. Courtney Vandersloot was awesome on both ends, 16 points, 11 assists, a career-high 7 steals. And after the game, Benijah Laney said everything she did tonight was so important for us, and she was great on both ends. And Stewie added 13 and 11 with a double-double. Maureen Johannes knocked down 5 threes on her way to 18 points. And Jonquel Jones really set the tone from tip. So just about everything clicked for the Liberty.
Yeah, everything was clicking for them against the Dream on Friday night. You just mentioned Jonquel Jones. She had a season-high 18 points against the Dream to go along with 9 boards. And for me, in my eyes, Jones appears to be finding her groove right now in New York. How key is she to this team's success going forward?
JJ's huge. She's looked more and more comfortable with each passing game. The stress reaction in her foot that had sidelined her in training camp is now behind her, and Jonquel's focus is now squarely on conditioning. It's night and day to watch her move defensively from that the opening night loss to the Mystics to now. She was an incredible disruptor around the rim yesterday, forcing misses from multiple Dream players with her help defense. And of course, offensively, 12 points in the first 5 minutes, 19 seconds of the game. Pair of threes, a pair of N1s after deep post catches. It's JJ's ability to score in the most efficient places on the court, either right under the rim or on open threes, that makes her one of the largest mismatches in the W. And with her finding her footing again, the Liberty look as dangerous as they have ever at this point, and they're already 8-3.
Yeah, 8-3 start to the season for the Liberty, and I'm glad you mentioned that about Jones. I think a lot of people will look at the offensive numbers, but she's been moving so much better defensively, as you mentioned there. And speaking of Jones, following the game, she said of the offense for the Liberty, quote, "The more balanced we are, the more lethal we are." I know 2 of the 3 times, Myles, the Liberty have scored 100 points or more this season has come against Atlanta, but New York, they are averaging 97.2 points per game over their last 5 contests. So what do you make of where this squad is offensively right now?
They've eclipsed that 100-point mark in 3 of their last 5 games. The only 2 games they didn't were the pair that Sabrina Ionescu missed without her in the lineup. So when she's out there, the offense is humming. Per PBP stats, the Liberty starting lineup is outscoring its opponents by 15.5 points per 100 possessions. So when those 5 share the court together, they've also knocked down 33 threes, and all of those triples have been assisted. The ball movement's just at a historic pace. If the season were to end today, New York's 25.5 assists per game would be the most in WNBA history. And yeah, you mentioned that quote about balance. Last night's game was a perfect example of what peak offensive flow looks like. Nobody hit the 20-point plateau, but the team knocked down a season-high 17 threes and assisted on 29 of 36 made shots. Everybody on the roster scored. It was a complete effort, and it's possibly the first complete 40-minute effort we've seen, just with intentionality from opening tip to final whistle.
Yeah, it was definitely a dominant effort, complete effort, as you said, down in the ATL against the Dream. Big win for the Liberty. They have another game coming up on Sunday at Barclays. Myles Ehrlich, he's going to be there. He is always on top of the coverage with the Liberty for W Insider. Myles, always great to talk to you. I'm hoping the next time I talk to you is also after a win so we can continue the good vibes going. All right?
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Dexter.
Anytime, Myles. Thank you, man.